You just got a raise. For the first time in your life, your bank account actually looks fine. You feel good. You feel for a moment rich. Then you go to a friend's birthday dinner. Someone at the table mentions their new car. Someone else just got back from Japan. Someone's wearing a watch that costs more than your rent. And by the time you get home that night, that same bank account, the one that felt fine 3 hours ago, suddenly feels small. Nothing about your money changed. Not $1 moved. But you feel poorer than you did this morning. This isn't in your head. Well, it is, but not in the way you think. There's a name for exactly what just happened to you. It's called the contrast effect. Here's a strange fact about how your brain works. It almost never measures things in absolute terms. It measures things by comparing them to whatever is right next to them. There's an old experiment that shows this perfectly. Put one hand in a bucket of cold water. Put the other hand in a bucket of hot water. Wait a minute. Then put both hands into the exact same bucket of room temperature water. One hand will feel like it just entered warm water. The other hand will feel like it just entered cold water. Same water, same temperature, same moment. Two completely different experiences because each hand is comparing the new water to whatever it just felt before. Your sense of money works exactly the same way. Your brain doesn't have a built-in number that tells you this is a lot of money or this is a little money. It only knows relative to what? Relative to yesterday, relative to your neighbor, relative to the last number you saw. Psychologists have tested this in some very direct ways. In one study, people were shown a house priced at $400,000. If they just looked at houses priced around $200,000, the $400,000 house felt expensive, almost shocking. But if they just looked at houses priced around $800,000, that exact same $400,000 house suddenly felt like a bargain. Same house, same price tag, same buyer, completely different feeling, based entirely on what number came right before it. This is why a $10 item feels expensive in one store and cheap in another. The price didn't move. So why would your brain be built this way? It seems almost like a design flaw. Here's the likely reason. For most of human history, there were no price tags, no bank statements, no numbers to measure wealth against at all. What early humans had was each other. If your neighbor had more meat than you, that was useful information. It might mean better hunting grounds, better tools, something worth noticing and learning from. Comparison wasn't about feeling bad. It was a survival shortcut, a fast way to answer the question, how am I doing relative to the people around me, without needing math or money or any abstract system at all. Your brain still runs on this ancient shortcut. It just doesn't know that the people around me now includes a stranger's vacation photos, a coworker's new car, and a stranger on the internet narrating their salary. The tool wasn't built for this many comparisons. It was built for a small group of maybe 50 people you'd see every day. Here's what makes the contrast effect strange and a little cruel. It doesn't just affect how you see other people's money. It affects how you see your own life compared to your own past. If you once made very little money and now you make a comfortable amount, you'll likely feel wealthy. Even if by any objective measure, you're still not making very much. But if you once made a very high income and it drops, even to a level that most people would consider more than enough, it can feel like a loss, like poverty, even though the actual number might still be higher than what most people around the world will ever earn. Same dollar amount, two completely different feelings, because your brain isn't comparing you to most people around the world, it's comparing you to whatever your brain most recently treated as normal. This is why lottery winners often report feeling less satisfied with ordinary pleasures a year later, a good meal, a nice afternoon, because their brain quietly reset what counts as normal, and now measures everything against that new, higher baseline. And it's why someone earning what would be considered a very comfortable salary in most of the world can still lie awake feeling financially behind, simply because everyone in their specific circle earns more. Your brain isn't measuring your life. This shortcut was manageable when your comparison group was 50 people in a village. Now most people spend hours a day scrolling through carefully selected highlights from millions of strangers. Nobody posts the average Tuesday. Nobody posts the bank balance the week before payday. What gets posted is the vacation, the new purchase, the good news. So the neighbor your brain is now comparing you to isn't a real, complete person living a real, complete life. It's a highlight reel, selected, filtered, timed for the best possible angle. And your ancient brain, the one built to compare itself to 50 real neighbors, doesn't know the difference. It runs the same comparison against an impossible sample size made up almost entirely of people's best moments. Not entirely. The comparison instinct isn't a bug you can switch off. It's built too deep into how perception works. But researchers have found something interesting. The effect weakens significantly once you become aware you're doing it. In studies on the water temperature experiment, once people were told, this is going to feel different than it actually is because of what you felt before, the illusion got noticeably weaker. Not gone, but weaker. Simply knowing the mechanism changes how strongly it affects you. The same appears to hold true for financial comparison. People who consciously notice I'm comparing myself to a curated sample tend to report the feeling passing faster than people who don't catch it happening at all. You probably can't stop your brain from comparing, but you can catch it in the act. So next time you leave a dinner or close an app, feeling suddenly poorer than you did an hour ago, nothing about your actual life has changed. Your bank account is the same number it was this morning. What changed is which bucket of water your hand was just in. You're not measuring your life. You're measuring a gap. And the other side of that gap was probably never a fair comparison to begin with. The friend with the new car might be in debt for it. The vacation photos might be the one good week in a hard year. The number that made you feel small was never the whole picture. Your brain was built for a world of 50 neighbors and no price tags. It's now running comparisons against millions of curated highlights every single day without ever telling you that's what it's doing. That gap you feel isn't a measurement of your life. It's just an old survival tool doing its best in a world it was never designed for.